Boeing cuts 20-year industry-wide outlook for planes. London U.S. plane maker Boeing (NYSE) BA Co. trimmed its projected industry-wide call for airplanes over the following 20 years, however mentioned it expects deliveries to be stable except the Russian marketplace. Boeing projects airlines worldwide will need 170 new airplanes over 20 years, with one-half of the deliveries for alternative plane, and with single-aisle plane accounting for about 75% of planes. Boeing's new marketplace outlook, released on Sunday ahead of the Farnborough Airshow, is down from its previous rolling 20-year forecast of 610 deliveries. The new estimate excludes the Russian market and its projection of 1,540 airplanes, due to the battle in Ukraine and uncertainty about while manufacturers ought to again sell planes to Russian providers. Boeing barely boosted its forecast for call for over the following 10 years to 19,575 aircraft deliveries, a higher projection even with the exception of the Russian marketplace. That's a feature of a depressed surroundings in 2021 falling off and a brand new fashion year in 2031 being added, Darren Hulst, Boeing Vice Chairman for Business Marketing, instructed reporters in a briefing beforehand of the Sunday launch. It comes very close to our 2019 outlook if Russia changed into protected. Boeing also dropped its industry-wide passenger visitors forecast boom charge slightly to 3.8% from 4%, however boosted its cargo increase forecast to 4.1% from 4% last year. It reduced its fleet growth forecast to 2.8% from 3.1%. Its forecast for widebody deliveries over 20 years fell from 7,670 to 7,230. Boeing still initiatives the global airline fleet via 2041 will almost double as it still sees the international aviation call for COVID-19 restoration with the aid of early 2024. Over the next 20 years, Boeing said, long-term basics continue to be intact. Our view of medium-term restoration whilst the enterprise gets again to 2019 degrees of global airline traffic is basically unchanged, when you consider that 2020, Hulst stated. Overall, we nevertheless see past due 2023, early 2024 as the time in which the enterprise recovers to complete or as a minimum the level of pre-pandemic site visitors. Boeing sees sturdy near-term call for plane despite recession dangers. The global industry continues to be on a restoration trajectory back to wherein the regular courting of GDP and site visitors could be, Hulst stated. Any small blip from an economic system point of view would be possibly crushed by way of the call for that exists due to the one's ordinary economic relationships. Boeing also projects the freighter fleet will develop 80% via 2041. Air cargo is acting at historical ranges, Hulst stated, saying it's far in element, a feature of the increasing strategic value of air cargo relative to supply chains which are challenged, and shipping this is challenged. Boeing sees e-commerce networks as assisting to drive a strategic shift to air cargo even into the medium and long term. This isn't always just a blip in phrases of shipping as opposed to air. Hulst said the range of routes with multiple airline running has more than doubled during the last too many years, representing 70% of all ability. It demonstrates the continuous innovation that airlines want to should maintain to compete at decreased costs to attract increasingly traffic. Air shipment nonetheless solely debts for 1% of worldwide change. A small shift in phrases of mode of transportation, of key elements of change, makes a massive effect in terms of demand for air cargo, Hulst stated.